Welcome to the Making of a Dynasty with Steve Bunin.
Okay, well, given that the title is Making of a Dynasty, let's recount what you've done in your five years, entering your sixth. 3 Big Ten championships, 2 National Coach of the Year awards, 2 30-win seasons, 2 Final Fours, and a national championship. Is this a dynasty?
Sounds like a good time to retire to me. You know, it's not a dynasty yet. I think the next 5 years will tell a lot of those stories on whether we can maintain something over a period of time. But I think it's a good building block. I think it's a good basement to this house. And if we can continue to add to that, then you know, you get to be called a dynasty.
I feel like we need to do it again and make it a dynasty. You know, me and Charlie have had some great careers here. We've won a lot of games, but I feel that we could really set our mark at this university if we go out there with another Big Ten championship and make it to another Final Four.
Do you have to win a national championship?
I don't think we have to, but we know we have the talent, you know, to win a national championship. But I think, you know, just going out there and playing, you know, night in and night out hard as we can. You know, we're going to lose some games, but we know if we go out there and give it our all every night, you know, I think, you know, we really can't get down on ourselves if we don't win it all. As long as we know we went out there and play hard as we can, you know, it's going to be a successful year.
Now, you weren't on the preseason All-Big Ten team. Does anything like that ever give you kind of motivation to say, you know, come out there and have a major year?
Oh, that's definitely a motivation for me. You know, I think that's little stuff like that motivates anybody, and I'm definitely up for the challenge. I want to go out there and try to accomplish those goals.
What kind of differences are there between your high school practices and college practices?
Oh, you go hard every minute.
Yeah.
Every minute.
What's Tom Izzo like as coach at practices?
He's on you, but he do everything because he want the best out of you, so it's all good.
We really don't know. Me and Zach don't really know what it takes to win the national championship. So we're kind of riding on the seniors and Coach Izzo to let us know what it takes and to get us prepared.
Back on the floor now. There's Taylor with the jumper. Nice pull-up. Yes, it was. Boy, he is a silky smooth freshman. Kentucky, in the 101 games the teams have played against Tubby Smith, he's only allowed 7 teams to shoot over 50.
What would be a successful season for you this year?
Just win a national championship.
That's it?
Yeah, win a national championship, Big Ten championship, all the great things that come along with it. And, you know, it's going to be great.
I want to win a national championship. I want to win a Big Ten championship, and that's basically it. And of course, I want to be successful myself. I don't know exactly the amount of points or assists or anything like that. I just want to be successful and confident, and hopefully, if I do that, then we'll win a championship.
I think for me, I want to go out there and win another Big Ten championship. It's, you know, something, you know, winning my 4, going 4 for 4 as far as Big Ten championship for me. I think that'll be a big accomplishment, and for this team, I just want to see everybody do well. You know, hopefully have good years and go on to the next level and, you know, have successful futures.
What do you think would make this year a success? Do you have to get to a Elite 8 Final Four?
You know, I hate to say no because then everybody will be mad, but I don't think so. I think what's going to make it a success is if we continue to grow as a team and get better every game, whether we're lucky enough to win the 6 or 8 close games that you know you're going to be in. You know, there's so many factors and variables. You know, if you watch the games that I've seen on college basketball already, it's been amazing, you know. 2 games, 2 one-point games. You know, it's just the way it's going to be. And if you make a free throw, make a big shot, it makes you a hero. If not, you're a bum. And that's the way college basketball is. So I can't judge it just on the wins alone. I can judge it on how our program continues to grow, both on and off the court, in the classroom. I can judge it on, you know, are we competing to the highest level, and are we competing in February? You know, at the end of February, if you're in the running to win a Big Ten championship, in the running to make a run in the NCAA tournament, I think that's a big key.
Time for a quick break. When Making of a Dynasty continues, find out which NBA stars the Spartans admired as youngins.
Tell me about your days as a kid in the UP. Who did you emulate? I asked some of the players who they looked up to. Who did you look up to?
Oh, you know, I looked up to probably more football players than basketball players growing up in the UP. You know, everything's was Vince Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers. So, you know, I don't know what great basketball players I looked up to. I had, you know, respect for Dr. J and how he handled himself. You know, I had respect for Jerry West and guys like that when I was growing up. But I just always loved all sports, and so I guess my only guy I looked up to a lot was my father, and that's because he was the guy I was around all the time.
You know, Steve Smith was my favorite. You know, growing up, I used to watch him all the time when he was at Michigan State. I loved Sean Rustford when he was at Michigan State.
I watched Dominique Wilkins. Everybody was a Jordan fan. They was talking about Jordan from floating from the three-point line. I like Dominique. He was doing hard windmills and hard 360 and stuff like that. So, you know, Dominique Wilkins was my man.
What about learning from the older guys? Andre Hudson, was he taking you under wing with a couple big lefties?
Yeah, you know, I'm learning a lot from Big Smooth. So, you know, you know, he teaches me, and I'm learning a little ropes. So everything's going well.
Have there been any guys that you pattern your game after, either guys you watched growing up in the NBA or maybe Tone or some guys here?
Yeah, I think when I first got here, I really looked up to Antonio Smith, you know, as far as his leadership and just the way he played. You know, he was a big guy, but he was so athletic and he moved so well. It's something I admire since I've been here, and it's something I try to model my game after.
How about growing up? Who was one of your favorite players that you like to watch?
When I was real young, I was a big Magic Johnson fan, and then I started liking Scottie Pippen a lot. So those are my two favorite players growing up.
And finally, what would you like your legacy to be as a Spartan, that when 10 years from now, when people think, oh man, what about Dre, what do you want them to think about?
I just want them to know I was a winner. You know, I want to win 4 Big Ten championships here, and I want everybody to remember that. Me going out there and playing hard and winning games.
In 3 years, when people ask Marcus Taylor, what he learned from Charlie Bell, what would you like them to have learned from you?
I think, you know, being a better leader, you know, being a better person, you know, as far as, you know, not just on the court, but off the court, you know, things that you do, you know, in everyday situations, you know, I try to let them know, you know, for me, I know that everybody's watching me, everything I do, you know, because I know the influence that I have on my little brother. I know I have a lot of influence on a lot of younger kids, and I just like to go out there and, you know, and do everything, you know, to the best of my capabilities.
And finally, in one word, how would you describe Michigan State basketball?
Just toughness. I think, you know, I think Antonio really, you know, set the standards there. You know, he raised the bar. The team, you know, he jumped over the bar, more jumped over the bar. And I know a lot of guys, you know, we haven't jumped over that bar yet, but I think, you know, I think when you think of Michigan State basketball, you think of toughness. You think of guys that's blue collar, you know, hard workers, and guys that's gonna go out there and give it their all every night.
You want to know what the Spartans are like at home? From favorite CDs and movies to hobbies and cookie preferences, stick around. Making of a Dynasty continues after this. Now tell all of us non-dunkers out there, describe the feeling of dunking in a game, a big dunk.
Oh man, it's just, you get the crowd just going crazy when you get a big dunk in the game, especially when it's a close one, or, you know, it's a special dunk, a 360 or something. It just gets you pumping too, and it get everybody going.
Who's the worst dunker on the team?
Oh man, I have to go with Jason Andre.
Just can't throw it down, huh?
He can throw it down, but not too hard.
Tell me something about you away from the court. Some of the fans like, well, what's a couple hobbies of yours? What do you like to do when you're not lifting weights, playing basketball?
Well, I'm pretty much a chill guy. I like to lay back and, you know, maybe watch a couple movies or just chill out with the friends. You know, I don't do too much other than that, other than basketball. You know, I try to get my studies done, but I'm a real laid back kind of guy. I just like to hang out and, you know, have a little fun.
Do you get compared with Barry White a lot?
Yeah, I get that a lot. You know, people get on my voice, so. They say I always got a job as a disc jockey if I'm making a basketball, so.
I'm a kind of guy that, you know, I do a lot of, you know, weird stuff, a lot of things, you know, a lot of.
You gotta give me an example now.
I mean, well, you know, hard to say. I'm a kind of guy that kind of just, you know, does things on my own, you know. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that goes out a lot. I'm the kind of guy, when I was in high school, I was always, you know, have a big game on a Friday night and then go home, do the dishes, eat some cookies and milk. You know, I think that's one thing that I love is cookies and milk.
All right, so what's the best cookie and milk?
Chips Ahoy.
Just no doubt about it?
Oh, yes.
All right.
And I like doing jigsaw puzzles, you know, 1,000-piece puzzles.
Really?
I'll just sit there and I can do them for hours.
Really?
I like to go to the movies a lot, but, you know, since the season started, I haven't had a chance to get there. So the last movie I saw was Remember the Titans. I really enjoyed it. Saw it twice. I'm trying to get there to see Pay It Forward and a few other movies. So Big Denzel fan.
I have to say, I just saw Remember the Titans, and that was a great movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Mike Chappelle talked about that too. What about Hoosiers?
Hoosiers was a good movie too. I used to watch that a lot when I was young, so I did like that. That's a good basketball movie.
This summer was a summer for blockbusters, man. I saw Final Destination, Sixth Sense, Hollow Man,
Blair Witch 2.
Is it good?
No, I seen the one with the pimp, Ladies Man.
Ladies Man.
Yeah, he's a pimp.
Was that worth it?
Yeah, he did his thing.
Tell me what kind of CDs would be in your car, in your room right now.
Some of that new Jay-Z, the Dynasty, Too Short, you know, DMX, UGK, a lot of old school stuff. You know, we like the LL.
Yep.
So you know, Eminem. I like Eminem.
my favorite rapper, so I probably have him in there.
You might catch me listening to anything from Jay-Z to DMX to Sade or Erykah Badu. It all depends on what day and what kind of mood I'm in.
And who else is in the car, maybe?
Yeah, that too. But I pretty much keep it loose. So it's not too much I won't listen to.
We'll be right back on Making of a Dynasty to talk to the smallest Spartan on this year's team, fan favorite Matt Ishbia. All right, so tell me as a walk-on what your role is and what do you take the most pride in?
As a walk-on, we know we're not supposed to be the guys coming in and playing the games and starting and doing all that, but we take pride in basically kicking their butt in practice when we can, just playing as hard as we can, you know, try to cause some problems, get coaches so mad at them, do whatever we can to spice up practice, and then during the games, we just cheer as loud as we can, and if we did our job all week and we get a big enough lead, we might get a couple minutes, and that's our enjoyment. When I see, you know, Charlie Bell or, you know, Jason Richardson make a play that I know that I had some kind of influence in practice, that's my little bit of pride in the game.
Have you seen Rudy, and do you?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
It's a great movie. I mean, obviously people have compared that to me. I mean, it's a great movie, but I mean, yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah. As a former end-of-the-bench guy in high school, I know there was a certain point total where you start looking at coach. What is it when you start peeking at Coach Izzo? How much is a point total?
Whenever the lead in the game is in hand and there's a couple minutes down, I mean, usually anywhere between 15 to 20 points, and that means our team played well usually, and that they did all the things that we needed to do in the game plan, which means we might get a chance to play at the end of the game. But if not, I'd rather us win without me playing than any time. So as long as we win, I could care less if I play.
Now, when the league gets big, do you try to sit a little closer to coach, or do you like inch forward in your seat?
I mean, no,
there's got to be a secret of the trade.
Obviously, I mean, you really don't have any control. It's kind of whispered down to you, but I mean, obviously, you'd love to get in, but that's a big thing. I love the 2 minutes, whatever, just like all walk-ons and people that then the bench do. But as long as we're winning and we're ahead, that makes me happy enough. So if I don't play, it's fine.
What is it like when you do get out on the floor? What's the feeling like, especially at the Brass?
It's great. I mean, the crowd's always been great here. They look out for the guys at the end of the bench. They cheer us on, support us. So it's great. You always go out there. You have so much emotion and intensity for you got 2 minutes. You want to try to do something. So it's a lot of fun.
He might have 0 career blocks, but Matt Ishbia has given a lot to this team in 2 years, in his own way, and it's kind of fun to see some guys that to make a good team and a good program, you need so many different pieces to the puzzle. I can promise you Matt Ishbia brings one piece of the puzzle.
Oh, it was great. I mean, Coach Izzo would tell us, we're going to try to run it up against Florida, not run it up, but, run the ball, try to score a lot of baskets. And, at the end of the game, Brandon Smith had the ball. He went up to shoot it, and it got knocked away. And I figured, hey, I'll go get it. And I took it to the hole. It would have been great if I made it, but we won, so won the national championship. It was a memory of mine. I probably got more questions about that than anything I've ever done.
Time to pay some more bills. When Making of a Dynasty returns, it's Tom Izzo time. Meet the head coach like you've never met him before.
In talking with your players, I asked them individual goals, and they all say Big Ten championship and national championship. And for most players, it seems like it's a cliche, but for your team, it really seems like they believe it. My question is, do you think that's why you win, is that your players buy into that?
Well, I think that the players in the past, you know, starting with Antonio and Smith, and then of course Mateen and AJ and Morris and guys like that, have started to develop something that it's how you become a great program. It's how you win dynasties. You don't just do that by the team you have. You do that by the program you've built. And that's why I say we're a long way from that yet. But I do think that those guys helped us to believe and buy into the system and believe that, you know, we can compete for championships. And I think championships, you know, are the ultimate goal because there's only one left standing at the end. And so, yeah, I think it's possible.
Is that something you look for when you're recruiting a kid, or do you talk to coaches about kids who seem to put team goals ahead of individual? I need to score 25 a game.
You know, if you get kids from winning programs, not many put individual goals ahead of team goals. And if you look at what's happened over the years, the All-Americans, the Wooden Award finalists, the All-Big Ten players, more of them come from the teams who win it or are in the top 2 or 3 than the teams that are down below. You know, to meet individual goals and still get national recognition, you'd have to score 40 points a game, compared to maybe 18 points a game on a team that gets to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. So I think our players realize that the team is more important than the individual, but yet the team helps the individual and the individual helps the team.
He showed me that, you know, there's going to be times when I'm not going to feel like, you know, practicing. There's going to be times when I'm not going to feel like doing stuff, but, you know, I think you have to stay mentally tough. And I think that's one thing I learned from him, and I want to go out there, and I think I'm working on my leadership now because, you know, he's trying to teach me right now that I'm going to have to be a better leader if I want to be successful.
You know what, Coach Izzo, if you ask him about the walk-ons, he treats us probably better than most because he was a walk-on at Northern Michigan, so he kind of takes good care of us, which is great.
What's your favorite play in college basketball?
Oh, my favorite play is the great pass, you know, that leads to an incredible finish. I think, you know, with Cleaves and Peterson, we had a great passer that led to a great finisher. When I watched games when I was in college or right out of college, a lot of times I was watching Irvin Johnson and Gregory Kelser, you know, great passer, great finisher, great combination.
If they made a movie of your life, who would you like to play Tom Izzo?
Boy, I don't know. That's a very good question. Somebody good-looking and very popular and rich.
How about Mrs. Izzo, Loopy?
Who would I want to play her? Oh, boy, that would get me in trouble. I can't answer that.
Who would play Mateen?
Who would play Mateen? Boys, it'd have to be someone that I have great respect for and great toughness, you know. Maybe Rocky Balboa would play Mateen.
Who would play Judd Heathcote?
Somebody that doesn't value his head or his health since he beat himself to death. But I would say Ernest Borgnine.
What's your favorite place on earth to be?
You know, I'm beginning to think it's in one of 2 places, one of 3 places. On the floor of the Final Four would be one. Really enjoyed that. At football practices, I really enjoy seeing guys going to things, whether it be with Mariucci or Bobby Williams or any place like that. And maybe on a lake. You know, I'm starting to enjoy getting to lakefront areas and just kind of sit back and relax.
I'd like to finish up with a game of word association. We did this with Bobby Williams. He seemed to think it was all right. So I'll say a name of a person. Tell me the first thing that pops into your head. Start with Judd Heathcote.
Great man who, very loyal.
Bobby Knight.
I think a great coach and a great human being that unfortunately couldn't work things out in the end.
Scott Skiles.
Tremendous competitor and a very, very intelligent basketball player.
Steve Smith.
Great human being who probably got my career started by being a part of recruiting him because he turned out to be such a great player and a great person.
Mateen Cleaves.
Tough, hard-nosed, one of the best leaders in maybe college athletics.
The media.
Beautiful people. Love them to death. Necessary evil.
Spartan basketball.
Championships, I hope.
Lupe Izzo.
A saint. I think she has been a big part of the success that I've had because of what she sacrifices and also for what she gives to her program.
Tom Izzo.
Hopefully just a good regular guy who has a lot of goals and dreams yet to fulfill, but wouldn't like to just fulfill them for himself, but all the people that love Michigan State athletics.